Well, I remember it was a beautiful spring day. Had taken one of our almost last bar exams for law school, and some friends asked, "Let's go for a walk. It's so nice. We don't have another exam for about a week." As they were spaced out, so we all walked from Suffolk University in Boston to the Boston Common. And it was just, you could smell the fresh flowers, and people were getting out, and it was just a sunny, beautiful day. We're walking around the Common, and there were two girls with us and another guy that was a friend of mine. The girl saw the gypsy woman doing tea leaves, so they were laughing. He said, "Oh, let's get our tea leaves read." And I didn't really believe in any of that stuff, and I just kind of laughed and said, "That's a waste of time, and you're just throwing your money away. Oh, it's only $2 or something." It was nothing. They said, so they decided they're going to do it no matter what. So we walked over to this old gypsy woman, and she ended up telling them, "Oh yes, you're going to get married, have lots of kids, good career," and she was really happy. The second girl, same type of thing. "Yeah, you'll marry somebody like this." She asked a question. "Oh yeah, he'll probably be a doctor or a professional." Then the guy who was with me, he agreed to go and have his tea leaves read, and she said, "Oh yeah, you'll be a successful lawyer also, and you'll have a good, get married, have lots of kids." And then it was my turn. I just didn't. I said, "It's a waste of time. I don't want to do it. Let's go. We're all done." And my friends were bugging me, and I'm like, "Fine, we'll do it." So the woman gave me a little tea and swirled it around the teacup, and then you turn it upside down, put it on the platter. And then she said, "Okay, and let me see it." And I moved it over to her, and she just jumped back and screamed and looked at the tea leaves, and we jumped 4 feet up in the air at the house and did the same thing. And I said, "Oh, I see a horrible journey. It's terrible. People will die in this journey. This is very bad." But I said, "Well, what about me? Am I going to die?" He said, "No, you'll be okay." So I'm like, "Okay, so fine." And very casually, and the people I was with were still shaking from seeing the gypsy woman jump in the air and scream. And then I just kind of forgot about the whole thing. It was in May, and I just never ever thought about it again. The next part of the story ended up being after the bar exam. I finished it was 3 days because it took 2 states, Maine and Massachusetts, and the last day was in Massachusetts. So I was heading home, and I said, "I really need a drink." And again, it was the middle of July, and my car turned itself towards Marblehead, which I knew where there were great bars and fun places to go, and ended up at this bar called Maddie's, which is right downtown in Marblehead. We got to Maddie's, and I walked in the door, and there was a little atrium, and they had, at the time, payphones on the wall, which people don't know what they are now, and there was a very cute girl on the phone, and she turned around and was looking at me as I was walking in. I looked at her, and she looked at me and said, "I know you," and it was the same time that I was saying, "I know you too," and then we were just trying to play where we knew each other from. And she was from Fort Lauderdale, so I didn't think I knew her from down there. And then she said she was on this big boat, and she was in Maine last year because I told her I was from Maine. And then I remembered I'd bought her a drink in a bar in Portland on Exchange Street. And she was telling me a crazy story about being on this big sailboat, and it was the fanciest sailboat, and she knew everyone. And so I thought, gee, that would be kind of fun. And she said, "Oh, and the crew's inside the bar, so come on in and enjoy meeting everybody." So I went in, and the next thing I remember was I met all the captain, the navigator, another crew member, and then we're just doing shots. And then I remember, the last thing I remember about that day was being put in a wheelbarrow and going down the dock because I was so drunk I couldn't walk. And then I woke up the next morning on this beautiful 70-foot super light racing boat called Desperado. And I was in the middle of Marblehead Harbor. There were no other boats. There were no other people on the boat except me. And there was a little note that said, "If you would like to be crew, just, here's some chores. We'll be back around dinner time. There's some food in the boat," and that was it. So.